while we are waiting for a few people to join us out here in Facebook land, let's take a few moments for each of us to kind of talk about what's one unique thing about ASU-Beebe's campus environment that we think that we enjoy. Catherine, what is the thing that you think is the most unique about ASU-Beebe?
I would have to say close community. As a student, you're going to get to know your faculty, the staff on campus, and so many of the students. I mean, you can even see it with our mobile app, how students are really quick to connect and get to know each other.
Awesome. Tyler, what would you say one of the most unique things about ASU-Beebe is?
I'd say as a two-year comprehensive community college, the fact that we have so much student life, hence the sign up above me here about all the different things that our students have access to at ASU-Beebe. So even though we have a lot of technical programs, those students will still be involved in student organizations, just like our students through our two-year transfer programs. Even though we have a lot of technical programs.
Absolutely. One of the unique things, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later, is having a residential program. You can get that full college experience right here at ASU-Beebe. And Patty, what would you say the most unique thing about ASU-Beebe is?
They took both of my answers. But, ASU-Beebe really is a family atmosphere. I think that we all know each other, and we continue to know each other throughout the line. I had a girl I was working with yesterday that she said the thing that she hated the most was that she had to leave ASU-Beebe when she went to a four-year college. And so she was coming back to take a summer class because she said, anytime I can come back, I want to come back. And so then I asked her if I could put her on the payroll. But, I mean, just the way that students talk about the campus when they leave, the amazing experiences that they have and how much they love and have such a true connection to this campus that follows them wherever they go. And so many of our former students have come back to work with us here at ASU-Beebe. And I just think that says a lot about the family atmosphere that exists here.
Absolutely. And those are three amazing things about ASU-Beebe. One of the things that I would find unique about ASU-Beebe myself, we are a community college, but one of the unique things I think about us is because of how old ASU-Beebe is. We were the state's first community college in 1927, and without getting into a boring history lesson about ASU-Beebe, because we have been around for such a long time, I think we have a diverse offering of courses like Tyler mentioned. We're a liberal arts campus with theater and band and choir and the humanities, but we also have those technical programs which traditionally define a community college. So yeah, I think those are all great things about ASU-Beebe. Well, it is about 8 after, so I think we will get started with our formal program. Good evening. It is Thursday, May the 21st, 2020. I'm Zach Tucker, and I have the honor of serving students here at ASU-Beebe as the Director of Student Life. Welcome to our second session of our virtual summer series entitled First Year Information, or FYI sessions. Throughout the summer, each Thursday at 7 p.m., we will be hosting live FYI sessions where prospective students and newly admitted students will have the opportunity to engage with our campus professionals about scholarships, financial aid, academic advising, and student life. Over the next 30 minutes or so, we'll engage with Catherine Burton, who's the Director of Advising and Learning here at ASU-Beebe, Patty Carson, who is a recruitment coordinator for our campuses, and Tyler Biddle, the college registrar with admissions and records, through a moderated conversation about enrolling in our summer programs here at ASU-Beebe, followed by a discussion. You'll have the opportunity to post any questions you have in the chat here at Facebook, Facebook. So if you have any questions during our conversation, add them in the chat. It will help us provide you with information as we go through this conversation, and then also the Q&A that we'll have at the end. If any of you need any specific questions about any personal or real specific matters, Catherine, Patty, or Tyler will be able to organize a follow-up session with you. Just add that to the chat, and one of them will connect with you about your specific needs. So with that little introduction out of the way, Patty, let's start out with you. So I am a student. I might be a visiting student, so I might be attending college at another institution, or I might be coming right out of high school. What's really the first things that I need to think about when enrolling in a summer course here at ASU-Beebe?
Well, obviously the first thing is going to be the actual application process and getting through the admissions process. That does vary depending on what kind of student you are. If you are a first-time entering student coming right out of high school, but you're wanting to jump right in and get started at college with your career, you would have to fill out an application for admission with us, and then just turn in a few documents. Our shot records, high school transcripts, and placement scores are really the only documents we need from you. And we can go ahead and get you admitted, and then get you with the advising center to help you get enrolled in classes. If you are a visiting student, it's a little bit different. So, and the definition of visiting student is somebody who is right now, they're taking classes at another college, but they are wanting to come for just a couple of classes this summer, or they're planning on going to another college after, but they want to get a couple of summer classes out of the way. These are students who are non-degree seeking with us. They're not looking for any kind of financial aid or anything like that. They just want to come take a couple of classes and then go back to whatever college they are currently attending. For those students, we really just need the application for admission and possibly an unofficial transcript or test scores if the class they're taking requires a prerequisite. So that's a little bit different process. I do want to encourage you, if that is your intention, there is an application for visiting students. So when you go and fill out the application, you want to make sure you're filling out that visiting student application. If you don't, we're going to ask you for a lot of documents that you don't actually need.
Zach, I think you're on mute.
Yeah.
We did this one time in the last week too. So for those current students, what's the first step for those current students?
For the current students, which if you're a current student, that means that you attended in the spring and you want to continue to, and you're just wanting to take the additional summer classes. For the current students, you can email the advising center. It's at scheduleclasses@asub.edu, and they can kind of help you through the next step. If you start the actual process and you run into problems because of prerequisites, you can contact either the academic advisor or the registrar's office, and they can help you see if you have the prerequisites you need, and if you don't have the prerequisites you need, to kind of give you an option of other classes that you might possibly could take.
Awesome. So, I'm trying to get into classes, and with this public health emergency that's going on right now, students know or probably can assume that we don't have a whole lot of physical people here on campus. So, Catherine, can you talk us through the advising process for new students and how that is happening remotely?
Absolutely. So all of our advising is remote. We are following the appropriate guidelines and being very careful. Advising appointments for new students are going to be primarily by phone or by Zoom. Primarily by Zoom, unless we need to do them by phone. We send out links to all new students once you're admitted, and you schedule an appointment and you have a one-on-one. It will look very similar to what we're doing now. We can share documents and email things ahead of time. So there's still one-on-one, very structured advising appointments for summer classes, and particularly for like non-degree seeking students that are just coming here for one class. when you call in, you have that very short advising appointment where we check prereqs, we make sure we've got all the appropriate documents and courses on file, and that it all checks out, and then we go ahead and help get you registered at that point. We also have a few guides that we're emailing out that can help students do it on their own, but if you have any questions or any trouble with getting into those classes, call up here and get a hold of us, or you'll get an email as soon as you're admitted.
Awesome, awesome. So Ty, tell us when our summer class is starting, and how are our sessions working set up?
So summer classes start, we've already had an intersession that started, so it's too late to register for it. But we do have what we call Summer 1, which is about a month long, Summer 8 week, which is about 2 months long, and Summer 10 week, which is about 2.5 months, that all start on June 1st. Students can actually register for those courses up until June 2nd, so that's second day of classes. We've also got what we call a Summer 2 term that starts on July 6th. So you have your July 4th vacation, you can turn around and get right back into the education mode right after that.
Awesome, awesome. And Ty, I'm going to here in just a few seconds post in the chat the link of where they can find their academic calendars. But while I'm doing that, talk to us about the online offerings for the summer. Are we offering online the entire summer? What is the method in which I can take classes this summer?
Yeah, so as everyone's probably aware, this summer is looking very different from past summers when it comes to summer enrollment and attending courses. So all of our Summer 1, Summer 8 week, and Summer 10 week classes, they're either going to be completely online classes, just like we had online classes last summer, but we also made some of those what we're calling Zoom assisted. And so Zoom assisted classes are actually still going to meet at the times that are published on the schedule. They're just going to meet just like we're meeting right now via live video. So students would actually log in at the times they normally would have come to the classroom, so they can listen to the faculty member lecture, participate in activities and assignments, and be counted as present and attending in the course. So that's for Summer 1, Summer 8 week, and Summer 10 week classes. At this time, our Summer 2 classes, which are the ones that begin on July 6th, if they were a face-to-face class, we are planning to resume normal face-to-face meetings. That could potentially change, but if it does change, it's going to be announced on the college coronavirus information page, which when you go to ASU-Beebe's main page, it's pretty hard to miss the big banner at the top, where we're posting updates anytime there's an update.
Awesome, awesome. And just on top of that, just so I know what, so students know what to expect this summer, has there been any discussion or decision on how tests are going to be administered this summer?
Yeah, so our academics office, because traditionally in the past, students who took online classes would actually come to campus for a proctored test, or if they were meeting face-to-face, they would have their tests face-to-face. For this summer, the academics office has partnered with a program called Proctorio, where students would actually download this software. They'll use Google Chrome, and it would just cost $5 per test that they take. But Proctorio is how several classes are going to be doing their proctored exams online without having to come to campus. Or some classes, they may actually just do a proctor via Zoom itself. So there's some faculty that'll be using Proctorio, some that'll be using Zoom, and all the instructors are going to have the information for their particular class, how they're going to handle those tests in their Canvas course shell. It'll be something they'll have right there at the top so that students will know what to expect way before we get near finals time.
Yeah. So these online proctor exams, are we just talking Summer 1, or right now are we planning Summer 1 and Summer 2 for online proctoring?
Right now it's Summer 1, 8 week, and 10 week. Summer 2 would be normal how we would handle our proctored exams. Some of that might change again, but if it does, we communicate that pretty immediately to students.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so where can students find where classes, what courses we have offered this summer?
Yeah, so students could actually go just on our ASU-Beebe main page. The fastest way to find courses would either to hover over the degree options at the top of the ASU-Beebe website and then click on the link that says course lookup. And there's actually a tool that students can use. They'll choose a specific term they're trying to look for classes in, and they can start typing in the course name. And if they know some more specific information, they could put that in too. There's also a web page where we have all of our summer course information, and that's just asub.edu/course-offerings, where there's a PDF list of all of our summer courses as well.
Awesome. So Catherine, this next one is towards you, and you've hit on it a little bit. But how do students register for classes once they pick their schedule? So they use the course selection tool, they figure out what classes we have offered, which ones they want to take. What's the next step to get in a class?
So for current students, if they've met with their teacher and they know which classes they need, they should already have access to their Vanguard portal and should already know how to log in there. And there's a registration tool in that Vanguard portal that they walk through, and it actually has step-by-step, and we'll have the courses that are related to their degree plan, and you actually just go in and register yourself on the portal. If they're working closely with their advisor can help them. If it's during an appointment or over the phone, they can do that during that process. For new students, say you just got admitted and you want to take that summer class, you can log into that Vanguard portal, do the same registration tool. If you have any trouble, like if you need a prereq or if it gives you any errors at all, you can call in and we'll help actually do that over the phone. But the easiest way, as long as you have access and you're admitted and ready to go, you can log into that Vanguard portal and use that registration tool to actually put yourself into classes. And you can edit that schedule up until the date, the last day to edit, which I'm sure we'll cover here in a second with the calendar, but you can actually go in and use that registration tool to edit or change your schedule if you need to.
Absolutely. So if I'm trying to register for classes and I'm having trouble with the portal and maybe my hours don't conform, maybe I'm working during the day or I have family, is there an easy email that I can get in contact to help with registering for classes?
Absolutely. The one they mentioned earlier, schedule classes at asub.edu.
Awesome. I'm going to add that to the chat so everybody has that. And then the next question is for Ty. How many classes can a student take in the summer? Wanting to get a jump start on courses before the fall, what are my limitations there?
Yeah, so during the summer, since all these are condensed terms, we actually don't want students to take a complete full load all in like summer one, where they're taking 5 classes in the span of a month. That's just not going to end well for that student. So during the summer, across all of our different terms, our summer 1, 2, 8-week, and 10-week, a student can take up to a total of 17 credit hours. Usually our classes, like a lecture class, is 3 credit hours, or a lab science is 4. So just on the individual terms, students could take up to 9 credit hours during the 8-week term. They could take 7 credit hours during either first or second term, and they can take up to 9 credit hours in the 10-week term. So there's a little bit of, if some students are taking, so let's say it's the first summer term or the second summer term, that would be like 1 lecture class and 1 lab science class that a student could take. Or during the 10-week or 8-week term, that'd be like 3 lecture classes that they could take.
Okay, awesome. So in selecting my classes or deciding which ones that I might need to take, Catherine mentioned prerequisites. Can you explain to us, Ty, what a prerequisite is, and what classes might need a prerequisite?
Yeah, absolutely. And both Catherine and Patty have kind of touched on this already. Some of our courses have rules. That means that a student has to take one class before they can take another class. So a really common example of this would be like you need to take Freshman English 1 or Comp 1 before you can move on and take Freshman English 2. So a student that's trying to sign up for Freshman English 2 needs to have already have a passing with C or higher final grade on file for Freshman English 1. Now, if you're a non-degree student, and Patty mentioned earlier that we really don't need any documents unless you're planning to take a class with a prereq. Say you took Comp 1 at Arkansas Tech in this past spring, and you want to take Comp 2 or Freshman English 2 with us here. If you can have that unofficial, which you can usually print out of your student portal from whatever your home college is, it doesn't have to be an official, to either provide to the Advising and Learning Center or my office or the scheduled classes at ASU-Beebe.edu, will override you into that class because we see that you had taken the equivalent class at another college. The other example of that, of course, is test scores. College algebra here at ASU-Beebe, students have to have a 21 on their math ACT. So if you're a visiting student, we just need to see those placement scores so that we can put you in the class.
Awesome. Awesome. And then probably one of the burning questions that a student has to answer before physically sitting in a class is how they're going to pay for that class. And the summer terms are no different than fall and spring. So Todd, can you talk to us about how a student can get financial aid this summer?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're a current student with us, and you've had financial aid with us this past year, it means we probably already have your FAFSA on file. So if you're planning to get financial aid here at ASU-Beebe, you have to be degree seeking. So this isn't really an option for a lot of our visiting students, but you will have to have your FAFSA on file with our office. You need to be enrolled in 6 or more credit hours to use what's called year-round Pell. And if you're enrolled in less than 6 hours, then you can still receive some aid as long as you haven't used up your maximum Pell eligibility during the past fall and spring. For loans over the summer, you just can't take out more than the annual maximum for loans. So if you've maxed out your loans fall and spring, you can't take out a loan again this summer. The other thing too is that students, the aid is actually dispersed by the term. So if you're a student who is enrolled in summer 1 and summer 2, some of the aid would be dispersed during summer 1 for one of your classes, and some of the aid would be dispersed in summer 2 for some of your classes. And then the last thing is most of our academic scholarships here at ASU-Beebe are really just for the fall and spring term. So if you're a current student who you have the opportunity or the chancellor's or the achievement scholarship, you won't be able to use those during the summer. We're going to have a lot more detailed information about financial aid for summer and for the next terms as well during our next session next Thursday too. So this is kind of some of the highlights, but we'll actually have an actual financial aid representative online with us next week who could really get into some of these nitty-gritty details.
Absolutely. And thanks for plugging our next FYI session next Thursday, Ty. Well, we're at the end of our conversation, and we're just coming on that 7:30 mark. There are currently no questions in the chat here on Facebook. So if you're watching and you have questions about summer housing, even if you're faculty staff here at ASU-Beebe and know those burning questions that students have about summer, I said housing, about summer period, including housing. I'll talk about that here in a second, I guess. Put a question in the chat. While we're waiting, I was going to ask the question amongst all of you on what do you think the number one reason a student should join or enroll in summer classes? I'll kick off since I've leaked what was happening in the back of my brain. Which is the opportunity for summer housing. So we do still offer housing in the summer. There's definitely a lot less students on campus in the summer. Traditionally, in the fall and spring semester, we have a pretty good percentage of students in housing. 80–90% of our 248 beds. The summer gives an opportunity for you to move into housing, get used to living away from mom and dad or your parents in kind of an independent lifestyle, get to know the campus before all your peers show up. There's a lot of students in housing. So I think that's a benefit. Patty, what would you say one of the benefits of enrolling in summer courses is?
I think that a summer class is good, especially for students who are first-time entering students. It gives them a good way to kind of acclimate themselves into college classes and, you know, get familiar with it before they take on that full load in the fall. So I definitely encourage it for first-time entering students. A lot of times the class sizes are a little bit smaller. You can kind of get to know your instructors on a more one-on-one basis before you have to take that 15 hours that you need for your scholarships in the fall. Get familiar with what a college class is really like.
Absolutely, absolutely. Catherine, what would you say one of the benefits of summer enrollment is?
Ooh, I'm trying to decide. I don't want to steal an extra one because Tyler hasn't gone yet. I would say.
Go away.
So, for some of our students that needed a certain amount of hours for a scholarship during the fall and spring semester to get that for an academic year, maybe a challenge scholarship, it's a great opportunity for students to pick up a course and add a few extra hours. If you needed to meet a deadline, if you needed to get a course, and you didn't have the chance to get it during fall or spring, a lot of times, and that's what a lot of our visiting students are looking at too, making sure they can wrap up a semester and actually get a course that maybe they didn't complete successfully, or maybe it just didn't work out earlier. The other option there is we have a lot of students that are trying to meet prereqs for medical programs or some of the nursing schools in the state, and it's a great opportunity to pick up. If you're working full-time, but you maybe have more time in the summer, you can pick up a couple of those lab courses in 5-week terms or 8-week or 10-week that you might not be able to do in the normal 16 or 17 weeks of a full semester. So great chance to pick up and knock out a couple of those classes to get on track for something.
Awesome, awesome. And Tyler, what would you say you think one of the biggest benefits of enrolling in summer classes are?
You know, on top of what both Patty and Catherine said, it's a way to get ahead, either to catch up or get ahead on your degree plan too. Some students during the semester, maybe it's their first year or first semester in college, and they need to drop a class so they can really refocus and reorganize and take a load that they are more comfortable with in their first year in college. And summer's a great way to pick that class back up and complete it. And like was already mentioned before, keep your hours at the level you need for your scholarships and to stay on track with your degree. We have a lot of students and even some folks like myself who took a summer class to earn their degree. They took that last class during the summer they needed to finish their associate's or certificate of proficiency or technical certificate.
Absolutely. And one of the last things one of the last things that I'll say while we're here is I think it's a great opportunity to focus on a course. So if you're taking a course that maybe you're not 100% comfortable with in a typical academic year, summer's an opportunity for you to buckle down, focus on that one course. You traditionally meet every single day or are going to be more intense in that subject matter, not having to balance, right? For me, it would be chemistry. I'm not having to balance chemistry in my intro to political science class and world lit and all the other classes. I can focus on that one that I know is going to be a little bit more difficult for me to make sure that I complete it successfully. That was one thing. We have had one comment where a student mentioned that they're in Dr. Jones's intercession class and said that Dr. Jones is awesome. I agree. We got great faculty here. Dr. Jones is one of them. And Terry, we're glad that you're taking an intercession class and getting a leg up on your academic progress. Absolutely.
And Zach, I'd just like to mention it's our same, full-time faculty that teach during fall and spring that are teaching our summer courses like Dr. Jones. So taking a summer class, you're with our same faculty that you would be taking during the regular year.
Absolutely. That's a good point. That's a great point right there. Well, before we wrap up, does anybody, panelists, Patty, Catherine, Ty, have anything else to add about summer enrollment and getting in summer classes here at ASU-Beebe?
The only other thing I would say is to register soon. We do have some classes that we are running out of seats now, especially like Catherine had mentioned, some of our science courses that students are taking for prereqs to medical programs. If you're not registering for those classes soon, we may not have any seats available once we get closer to that June 1st start date.
Absolutely.
I would say that admissions is available for you for whatever. If you're unsure about what application to fill out, if you're unsure about what documents you need, if you have questions about prerequisites before you apply, you can contact the admissions office either by phone. We have our main line, which is our 882-8860 line, and then we have our admissions email, which is just admissions@asub.edu.
Awesome. Catherine?
Same thing that Patty said. We are here to answer questions. If you're not really sure, or students are not really sure if they're ready to get enrolled and maybe take a summer class or get started, ask. Just call in. We'll have that conversation. There is no harm in just calling to ask questions.
All right. Tyler, did you have one more thing?
Yeah, Sherry Organ, who's one of our staff members here at ASU-Beebe, is actually participating too in our chat. And she nudged me to remind that students who are not fully admitted to the college based off their placement scores, we actually have a summer success course that they could take so that they could retest multiple times throughout the summer and take an online course to help them prepare to be college ready, whether it's for one of our technical programs or our 2-year transfer programs. And students who take this course all throughout the summer will actually earn credit for our Principles of Academic Success 3 class at the end. And the great thing about this particular summer course is it's free. So students would actually get their first college class sometimes for no cost to them, and it's a great way to really get that initial preparedness for starting college in fall. And if you have more questions about that, you can email our adult education program here at ASU-Beebe or the registrar's office, and we'll put you in contact with her.
Awesome. I always said, if it's free, it's for me. So that sounds like a great deal for our students. Well, I think we're at the end of our time here. I don't see any more questions in the chat. I want to thank Patty, Catherine, and Ty for joining us for our second FYI session as we walk through information and we try to reach prospective students and admitted students and current students on engaging and getting enrolled in classes and student success over this summer. Be sure to join us next Thursday at 7 o'clock, May the 28th, when we talk to officials from financial aid about financial aid information and the all-important FAFSA and completing your FAFSA as early as possible to make sure that you qualify and get your financial aid processed as soon as possible. If you have any questions about this subject matter or anything about ASU-Beebe, if you're watching this video or this conversation recorded on Facebook after or where we're going to be archiving all of these conversations at asub.edu/new students, do know that you can email admissions advising or the registrar or new students at asub.edu. Your questions tonight, I think a few of us are going to monitor the chat on this video. So even if it's after and you're watching this video recorded, feel free to ask your questions in the chat, and staff here at ASU-Beebe are going to connect with you. Again, Patty, Catherine, Ty, thanks for joining us tonight. Thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week, May the 28th, for FYI sessions.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.